Welcome to this week's episode of Biz Success in 15, where top experts share hot tips and strategies that you can implement in as little as 15 minutes to build your dream business. And now here's your host, the Visibility Wiz, Cindy J.
Hi, I'm Cindy J, the Visibility Wiz, and welcome to this episode of Biz Success in 15, where top experts share hot tips and strategies that you can implement in 15 minutes or less. Today, our guest is Odette Peek. After building a seven-figure business, Odette suffered a personal crisis that led to a breakdown and then a rebirth of a new mission to help entrepreneurs and leaders share their unique and powerful story within the world. Odette is a professional speaker, experienced business coach, and TEDx alumni. She created the Speak from the Soul and Sell in 6 minutes or less program to help entrepreneurs build high-impact, lucrative, and purpose-driven businesses using the power of personal stories. Welcome, Odette. It's a pleasure to have you.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Super excited to talk to you. I read a little bit about your story, and I'm like, wow, this girl had some challenges, and I love the way you overcame them. So to begin with, can you share a personal or business challenge that you had to overcome in order to achieve your level of success?
Wow. And you want me just to pick one?
Right.
Most notably, the most recent was when I started my coaching business back in 2009, and I had a job. And just a quick recap of my life prior to that, I had started a business when I was 27, had it for 12 years, sold it, and that company is still really still around and still super successful. And that was the seven-figure business that I had created. And it kind of came to a place in my life, like, what am I going to do now? I had 2 little kids as a single parent. After I sold the business, I went and I got a job, and I just really had to figure out who I was, where I was going to go in that sort of next half of life, because I was about 38 at the time. Mm-hmm. And when I started my coaching business, it was really, I thought, what do I know? I was laid off from my government job. Gosh, I was actually in the government. And it was like a real opportunity to go, okay, I get to reinvent myself. And I did. And I decided that I was going to be a business coach and did all the things that I needed to do to get that in place, all the online stuff, and because that was such a new world to me.
Right.
Well, my first business was in the 90s, and we didn't have that. So I went full-time in 2010. I remember it was July 2010. And about 30 days later, by this point I'm in a relationship of, common law, living in the house, blended family, the whole deal, right? And I thought, okay, this is a great opportunity to go full-time because I've got someone taking care of the house, the kids, the bills, all of that. And 30 days later, I got the proverbial "we need to talk" conversation, and you know that it's not going to end well for you. So when you hear those words, the relationship ended, and I had to really think about, what am I going to do now? If I had my partner's going to take care of all of the household bills and the money, and what do I got to do now? If I have to move and being a single parent again, I'm not going to be able to do it. About 30 days after that, both of my parents, within a couple months of each other, they both fell, they both broke their hip, and then they both passed away within 2 months of each other. And here I was in this place of my future's kind of gone, of what I thought it was going to be, my past, I'm now an adult orphan, and I didn't feel like I had roots anymore. And so I'm left with my present, and here's what happened. This is like I was a proverbial, we call it a walking proverb, because it's like the future and past are gone, but my present was not fun at all, because I went to bed one night really kind of stressed out, not feeling all that great. And when I woke up, I had no feeling in my arms or in my hands. I couldn't move. I had no feeling. And what had happened was the stress of it all finally pinched the nerves in my neck. If anyone had a pinched nerve before, their neck or their back, it's immobilizing. But I happened to have it on both sides, which meant I had no use of my upper body. And it was the pinnacle of I just can't do this. And how am I going to overcome all of this stuff? Move out, start a business, take care of my kids, take care of my health, all of it. Right. But there was something inside of me that said, you got no choice. First of all, no one's going to hire you. And the thought of that would kill you. So persevere. And in that first year, my coaching kind of looked like this. First of all, I don't know how I got clients because I'm like, I'm a bit of a wreck. But I had a fair number of clients. So I would coach all day. I would coach for an hour and then cry my heart out for 15 minutes. Coach for an hour, cry and sob like a baby because I was so overwhelmed with everything. And it would be like coach, cry all day long, day after day, week after week, month after month. And it was my way of healing and coping and moving forward. And I built a 6-figure business. And I realized that this story, at the time I didn't realize it, but it was like, this needs to be shared with other people so that they can see what they're going through and how they can overcome it. So that's my quick version.
Yes, your quick version. I know. Like I said, I love that you said adult orphan. People don't realize the impact of that unless they are an adult orphan. I was an adult orphan at 33, and just whenever you said that, I could really resonate with that because you do feel lost and alone, and it's an interesting feeling. But also with the numbness from the upper body, and you said you would coach and then you would cry. How was you dealing with the pain? Because a lot of people, if they've never experienced that numbness, don't realize all the pain that goes with the numbness.
Well, yeah, that's a great question. So let me see. So it took about 18 months for me to fully regain the use and then consistently keep it. Right. So what would happen was I would start to get better. And then I would overdo it. Like I remember this one time, I was so excited that I woke up and I actually could move probably about 60%. And so I went and I washed the floors because I was like, I can move. I want to do something normal. Right. And remember another time I went out biking with my girlfriend. I hate biking. Right. And like, no, but I'm normal. And then the next day it would be a disaster. So what I did was I lost about 15 pounds. And what happened was when I would wake up in the morning, if anyone's ever seen anyone with rheumatoid arthritis, what happens to your hands is that they curl in. And if you have arthritis, they curl in and you can't pry them open. So the nerves had restricted the tendons and my hands would curl in every morning. I would go to bed like this and they'd wake up like this. And every morning I would like pray to God. Every night before I went to sleep, I'd pray to God almost in tears to not wake up feeling this way and being this way. And I did. And so I started taking the drugs that I needed to take to reduce the muscle spasms. And I didn't like taking them, but I decided I got no choice here. I tried acupuncture, massage therapy, sacrocranial. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who can say, why didn't you try this? Why didn't you try that? It was time and energy and money. So it was really, the drugs really made a difference because it allowed me then to do the meditation and then do the acupuncture and things like that. So it was a combination of things. The pain was when it's not even the blood wasn't there anymore. It was when I started to pry open my hands because I was determined to continue to network and speak and build my business out in the real world. And I didn't want to show up with my hands curled up. So I just, persevered.
And I love that because your story is 100% proof that regardless how down you are, you had everything hit you, grieving your parents, grieving the relationship, being a single mom, being terrified of how you're going to raise your children, and then to be hit with this illness at the same time. It takes a lot of perseverance and one day at a time. So I really thank you for sharing your story. And I love that you use your story to teach other people how to use their stories. So whenever somebody first starts to come to you, how do you even begin to help somebody realize which story is the best one for them to share? Because we all have numerous stories.
Right. That's another great question. And a lot of people use the wrong story and they don't know how to articulate the story in a talk or in a conversation. So in my Speak from the Soul program, I focus on a proprietary thing that I created, a system on how to take a look at your entire life. So let me just explain what I call your soul story is. The definition of soul story is the very center of who you are. It's your inner sense of meaning and purpose. And our whole life is made up of a gazillion life experiences that I call your soul story moments. And when you follow your soul story, when you follow those moments and become emotionally connected to them, your life starts to fill with meaning and purpose. And when you're sharing your soul story with other people, their life fills with meaning and purpose, and so on and so on. And that's the ripple effect of impact. And that's the ripple effect of what sharing your soul story does. So what I have people do is go through a system that I call going through the ages, where we map out your entire life from, 0 to the age that you are now.
Mm-hmm.
And we map it out either like on the wall or on an Excel spreadsheet, so that and then we go through year by year and taking a look at all of our life moments. Now, a lot of people, it's a lot of work, especially if you're 50, right? So you start with what you remember. And then, so what I call it, I call them the boulders. You put in the big boulder moments, which are typically, marriage, divorce, having kids,
Mm-hmm.
you went to university or whatever. So those are the big pieces, and you put those on first. And then you go through your life year by year, and whatever pops up, you write it down.
Mm-hmm.
And those are like the smaller rocks. And you keep doing this process year by year. And here's the key is a lot of people say, well, I don't want to go year by year because, there's just too many moments.
Right.
But the point of it is that if you don't do it in that process, you miss key stories and key elements of your life that have brought you to where you are today. And it's not just the big things necessarily, like the divorce, that is where you are. It's
Mm-hmm.
the belief system. It's the way that you were brought up. It's the things that happened to you when you were younger. It's those silent moments, I call them as well, that are what create what I call an emotional theme throughout your entire life, which is then a thread for your talk and for your story. And we need to find the emotional theme in your life in order to determine what has been or is the driver to where you are today. So we're all talking about business success. And there's a gazillion strategies online. You can just find all that stuff online and go do it, right? Like go be successful. It's not that hard. But the problem is it's the inner game, and the inner strategy isn't working. Otherwise you'd be where you want to be. And it comes from your soul story moment. So you need to identify the soul story moments that are those crusher moments and that have made a difference. So just quickly about one of mine that I actually just remembered a couple of weeks ago was, I remember telling a story. I was 10 years old. I remember exactly what I was wearing. I'm on my driveway with a couple of the neighborhood kids. We're yapping away. And then I start to share my story. I remember thinking, well, I remember his name, Brad, he shared his story and everyone laughed. So what if I shared what I was thinking in my story? Maybe they'll laugh too.
Right.
But the response that I got was, we don't care. Literally, a couple of them said, I don't care. And it was a crushing moment for me. And at that point, I said, I'm never going to talk or tell my story. And I only started telling my story about 4 or 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it's about, and I wouldn't have remembered that had I not gone through that process. Does that make sense? So that's about finding those moments. And I can promise you, you do have an emotional theme that is your driver to where you are today.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Thank you very much for sharing that. And next, what are some of the top ways to even gain visibility and reach in your business?
Well, number one is you need to, behind the scenes, you need to know what your story is. Mm-hmm. And you need to have that sort of written out.
Right.
That hero's journey. And then how to actually get it out into the world. To me, the quickest way is speaking. Is get out there and speak at your networking event or find out where you can speak. And you don't have to be a fabulous keynoter. It's not about getting paid to speak. It's just about getting out there with your soapbox, standing on someone else's stage and sharing your story, sharing what you do, and then having a powerful call to action that moves people into action to either buy from you or get something free from you or join your list or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And speaking is live and online. So this is speaking. And what people don't realize is that there's so many opportunities that are 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes out in your community, in the real world, that you can talk about yourself and your business. Everyone has in their head, to be a speaker, I need that amazing keynote. No, you just need 5 minutes. You need people in front of you and wear high heels and you're already 6 feet, elevated up a few inches. And you're already an expert. And once you're in front of a room, doesn't matter if you don't know anything about what you're talking about, people think of you as the expert. It's a perceived notion. So that is, in my opinion, the fastest way to grow your business.
Odette, can you please share a strategy that our listeners can implement in 15 minutes or less to grow their business and grow their impact?
Oh, absolutely. Here, I'm going to give you 3 based on beginner, intermediate, and advanced business owner. So I'm going to start with the advanced business owner. Number 1, if you're out there and you're doing your stuff and you've got a list of people and maybe you're putting on an event or something like that or whatever, pick up the phone. And I say that for the advanced people because by that point, picking up the phone is a really great way to grow your business. I built my first business by picking up the phone and doing 5-minute office presentations all over the city. For the intermediate person, start doing Facebook Lives and maybe more video. And so Facebook Lives are live, but get on video. So maybe it's the Facebook Lives or podcasts, shooting videos and promoting that. It's because then people get to see you in almost real life, just like we are right now. And they get to almost like know, like, and trust you a lot faster. And for beginners, here's what I recommend that you do is just get your butt out there, network like crazy, find like all those networking events that are in your neighborhood. And so here's what I did was just put a pin on a map where you live and I did a 50-kilometer radius or 50-mile radius and just went to all the networking events that were in that area for women groups or meetups or whatever your target market is, and just go. And the beauty of that is that you have an opportunity just to often we just stand up at the networking event and say, hi, my name is Odette and I'm a soul story strategist and this is what I do, yada, yada, yada. And that takes 30 seconds.
Right.
And that is what will build credibility because it's all about getting people to know that you're even alive, let alone that you exist, and most importantly, what you do and how you can help them.
Mm-hmm. I love those ideas. Thank you very much. And I love that you separated it. Nobody has ever done that before. So I really appreciate that. And I know that part of the gift that you're offering our clients has to do with how you personally earned $40,000 in a 6-minute speech. And so you help other people do this. And I think this is so great because so many people think that they have to go out and either be a keynote or they have to have this 30-minute or 60-minute speech to make that type of income. But you're sharing that you can do it in 6 minutes. So if you can share a little bit about your gift and how a 6-minute speech can bring in that type of income.
Oh, absolutely. And I do this all the time. So really it's about 6 minutes and under. And just a super quick story, how this all came about was I happened to meet this woman online and she was in my neighborhood doing a networking event. She said, come. And I'm like, okay, sure. And it was at a bar. I get there. I know nobody. And she says to me so graciously, hey, we don't know you. Why don't you jump up in front of the room and just give us 2 minutes of who you are and what you do. And I'm like, yeah, awesome, what a great opportunity. And then part of me was like, oh my God, what do I say? So I grabbed a cocktail napkin, literally grabbed a napkin. I tried to write on it with my little pitch. And I'm like, screw it. This doesn't work. Pen on a napkin doesn't work. You need like a coaster. And so I went up there and I told a little bit about who I was. Now this was a noisy bar. So I had to really project. And which probably added to the confidence that, I lacked actually. But I just told them who I was, what I did, why I did it, who I did it for. And then I had a call to action at the end of it. I say, hey, you know what? I'm here. I'll be sticking around. If you have any questions, give me a call. And I've also got some books that I wrote for sale, whatever. And I don't know what the hell I really said. And I generated well over $20,000 in the room. I made a connection with the keynote event planner who was looking for a speaker and went on her stage about 8 months later and made like 100,000, if not more. And that was from a 2-minute by accident networking event that I wasn't going to go to.
Wow.
So,
very interesting.
So I decided that I realized that I'm onto something, and I put together a talk template, and it's called How to Make $40,000 in One 6-Minute Talk. And I outline the 10 categories or 10 steps that you need to have in a talk that takes them from, wow, I need to listen to the call to action. And I walk you through the 10 steps. And from there, just to take it another layer deeper, if you want more training, I have a free training called How to Make 40,000 in One 6-minute talk. And it's a webinar, all for free, that really outlines how I did it, step-by-step process. So really valuable for you, for anyone who is interested in taking their business to the next level and using story and speaking as the way to do it.
It's such a wonderful gift, and I know that these strategies work online as well as offline. So to our listeners, you want to be sure to head on over to bizsuccessin15.com/Odette. That's ODETTE. So bizsuccessin15.com/Odette, and grab your Make $40,000 in One Talk template. And be sure to sign up for the webinar and watch that, because then you're going to be able to create your own talk that mesmerizes your audience and rocks your sales. And you can also re-listen to Odette's story and any words of wisdom. You can download the podcast and be sure to share it with your friends.
Yeah.
Odette, do you have any parting words for our listeners?
I do. I think we all have story,
Mm-hmm.
and we all have an experience that will benefit someone else when they hear it. If you're afraid to share your story like I was, I can promise you it makes such a significant difference to somebody else for you to get out of your own way. And really, it's let go of the fear and the anxiety or whatever is going through you around, will people want to hear my story? Who will care? I don't even know how to share my story. And just start sharing it, because we're all here on earth for a purpose and a reason. And it's not just to make money, right? It's to make a difference, and it's to make a change for that next generation. And I'm a mom of two girls who are 18 and 20. And I think what kept me going when I had that crisis time when I started this business was I have to be a role model for my girls, because they're watching me and they're taking care of me, but they need to know that when life beats you down, you can still get up and make a difference. And that's what this is about. It's not just about survival. It's about make a difference. So we've been gifted with our pain, with our mess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go and do something with it.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing your story and for helping us learn how to even create our own stories. And it's been a pleasure having you today.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. And to our guests, I want to remind you, if you enjoyed today's show, feel free to share it with your friends, and hop on over to bizsuccessin15.com/Odette. Download your Make $40,000 in One Talk template, and re-listen to Odette. Catch up on any past episodes that you might have missed for other hot tips and strategies. And big hugs, and I hope you have a great week. See you next week. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Biz Success in 15. For all links mentioned in today's show, and to watch or listen to previous episodes, visit bizsuccessin15.com. Thanks so much for listening, and be sure to tune in next week for another amazing guest.